Welcome to the First and 30 podcast. This is episode 52 as the dust settles. Antonino conference recap, Super Bowl preview, but tell the chain movement what we're all about again.
We are two 30-something-year-old guys giving you 4 boycott-induced downs in 30 rage-quit minutes of NFL football insight to get you through your hump day.
Somebody must be projecting their feelings about the outcome of these conference championship games.
It is not what America wanted. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. We called it too last week, did we not? We said the games that we all want probably are not going to be the game that ends up occurring.
I know it's very sad for a lot of our folks in the DMV Commanders fans that are listening. We're with you. I feel bad, but there's hope in the future.
Yeah. Well, let's not spoil it in case people just wait to hear what happens when they listen to our podcast and they don't even bother watching the game. They look forward to these recaps. We don't want to spoil it all. But before we hop into first down, Antonino, I do just want to put it quickly out there. Man, I am excited to come visit you in Tampa, Florida this weekend. I need a reprieve from this dark, desolate winter that we're experiencing up here in the Northeast. So I'm excited for you to show me what life is like in Tampa.
Palm trees, sunshine. We're going to hit up the beaches. Can't wait to have you down. You're going to love it. It's no more single-digit cold weather. No more.
Thank goodness. I'm looking forward to some sun and hopefully hopping into the ocean too. So looking forward to it, man. But let us kick off this episode, a conference championship recap episode at that, leading us to Super Bowl talk, which will be next week. But for first down, starting off the game, if you will, let's focus in on that AFC Championship game, because I like to start these things off with kind of the emotional flare downs. And for you in particular, I know this is going to get you heated up a little bit. I hope it will. I'm going to poke you a little bit. But I know you jumped on the Bills Mafia bandwagon last week. You even proclaimed it to everybody. Well, unfortunately for Buffalo, they lose to Kansas City 32-29. And what was a really entertaining game. Yep. But lay it out to me, man. How are you feeling? How is it settling? Has the dust settled? Are you emotionally stable here today now that you've had a few days to process?
My blood is absolutely boiling right now. The voodoo magic that the Chiefs have, like I said last week, is just way too strong. This is above me and you and everyone who's cheering for the opposite team. There's nothing we could do about it. It's just they got something behind them, and you leave it to the refs. We mentioned this last week, the Kansas City Zebras. You leave it to the refs, and they got burned twice. And you hate to see it, and you hate to see it. God.
What two instances in particular are you referencing where the refs played a big factor in this game?
Well, one play, first half, there was a throw. Kansas City has the ball. It's right around inside the 5-yard line. Xavier Worthy goes up, gets the ball with one hand, but it looks like it should have been an interception. Oh. He goes to brace himself with one hand. The ball's kind of in the other. It was a 50-50 ball. It didn't look like he had control, and it touches the ground, mind you, and that's called a catch. And then they score shortly thereafter. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that play specifically?
I think they had to go with the call on the field, which was a catch. It was such a close play. If they had ruled it an incomplete or an interception, I wouldn't have argued with it. It was just one of those crazy plays that really could have gone one of 3 ways. It could have been a catch, an INT, it could have been a drop. Pick your poison. So I think the refs had to go with what the call was on the field there.
I mean, that's kind of crazy if Xavier Worthy can put one arm to brace himself while half having the ball in the other hand with the other guy with 2 hands on it. All right, fine. Let's give them that one. The next one, end of the game. We all saw this. 3rd down, Kincaid jumps for a first down. They mark him a foot short of the first down. I think he might have got it on that 3rd down. But continue 4th down. They just go right up to the line because they're 3 for 3 on 4th and short. So let's just do this, run it quick. There's a sneak by Josh Allen, and everyone saw the freeze frame. Did he get the first down? He was right on that line. The angles weren't that great. One ref spotted it one side. One ref spotted it differently on the other side. What's your thoughts on that one?
Well, we didn't get a clear look on that one angle closest to the side. There wasn't a clear look. There was a helmet in the way of wherever Allen was with the ball, and we did see the referee on that side of the field coming in and looking like he was going to mark it as a first down, whereas the other referee on the bottom half of the screen came in, marked it short. Again, it's you have to go with what the call was on the field, which was short yards. And look, this was a greater narrative, though, for Buffalo. They tried 3 short yardage rushing plays with Josh Allen. All 3 times he was stuffed by the Chiefs defense. So their inability to execute on those short yardage plays, which has been their bread and butter this season. Beside Philadelphia, Buffalo is probably one of the best teams at executing those short yardage plays because they just sledgehammer Allen into the line and he can usually get the momentum to do it. But we saw it time and time again in this game coming up short. So again, I can't fault the refs here. It was the call on the field. You have to go with the call on the field. It was there wasn't enough to overturn that.
It's really a tough one because I feel like you see where the ball is from one camera angle under his chin, and you see where his body is. He just has to get to that line on the field. And with the technology the NFL has, can we please get a microchip on the tip of the ball? Can we please figure this out? Like, why are we dealing with this? You have tennis who can see where the ball hits the line. Like, can we get something in this ball? Let's eliminate this garbage. Like, we should know if it's a first down or not and not have 2 old referees coming from both sides just guessing. Like, what are we doing here? Come on.
I did pose that argument to some of the folks I was watching the game with. I was like, we have the capabilities with AI and everything else where we can eliminate human error in the game. But I mean, is it like, in baseball, the old head mentality, like it ruins the integrity. It ruins the mojo of what the sport is about. It needs to have that human element and error involved in it to make it controversial, make it exciting perhaps, because look, here we are days later still talking about plays because of perhaps human error and the discrepancy and the clouded narrative around what actually happened. It just sparks more intrigues, right?
I feel like these days there's too much involved in these games, money-wise, there's stakes, so much involved. We can't leave it to air. Let's be perfect.
More reason, though, to create that variability, Antonino. Do you think Vegas wants people to have like the science backing these decisions? No. Vegas wants variability because that helps them win.
I have a feeling
the money wins. That's what they care about the most.
I have a feeling this is going to be a good off-season topic. But before we move on, I do have a couple of things I want to mention.
Yeah.
Josh Allen. Gosh dang it. How much can we get this guy some help? Like, he plays so well on these games. Like, he's first all-time in total yards per game in the playoffs, first all-time TDs per game in the playoffs. Like, the turnover ratio in the playoffs, first off-time. Last year, Stephon Diggs dropped that pass. The 13-second game, we all know about that against the Chiefs. Tyler Bass missing the field goal. To this game, everyone knows that Kincaid dropped. The Dalton Kincaid on that 4th down, they blitz. He throws it up. Miracle throw. Kincaid's right there. Make the catch. Josh Allen has done everything for this team. Make the catch.
Yeah. But the real story to me, though, and why this game ended the way it did, Buffalo's defense came up short. They they choked in the most critical point. The Chiefs hadn't scored a game over 30 points all season. This was the first time they did it. Yeah. So that stood out to me. But Buffalo's defense gave up 17 first downs and 217 yards in the first half alone. Kansas City didn't even face a 3rd down situation on their first 2 drives. Buffalo gave up back-to-back scores in the 4th quarter after their offense had gone ahead and scored some touchdowns and some points. So not only that, pass rush, non-existent. Where's Von Miller at? They only had 6 pressures on Mahomes that resulted in 2 sacks. So Buffalo's defense was really the shortcoming, in my opinion, and why this game was won by Kansas City. They just executed at a higher level. They found ways to win this game, and Buffalo, Josh Allen was probably the best player on the field, but it doesn't help when you're saying, he doesn't have the support cast around him.
Don't look now. The Chiefs look like they're coming into form. This is the Chiefs team of old. It didn't feel like the Chiefs team struggling all year. This looked like the Chiefs teams from the past couple years that won Super Bowls. But we'll end it off with this. Buffalo Bills fans, I was on the bandwagon. I loved it. I feel bad for the fan base. I feel bad for Josh Allen. But the curse is alive and well. Buffalo Bills, the curse. They could have had Mahomes. They didn't. They had Tyrod Taylor. They didn't draft Mahomes. They could have took Xavier Worthy. They didn't. They ended up getting Keon Coleman. They traded with the Chiefs. So they could have had Mahomes or Xavier Worthy. They didn't. Here they are. The curse.
And that's the reason why Buffalo, you can't beat the Chiefs, because you're playing nice with them on draft night. Stop playing nice with them. Stop helping them. Jeez.
What are you doing?
All right. Well, that's who's going to be representing the AFC. The Kansas City Chiefs, for the third straight year in a row. They're going to try to repeat or tri-peat as champions. But over in the NFC, man, we had another big game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Cinderella team, the Washington Commanders, that no one had any really odds of them making it as far as they did. The reality set in pretty quickly in the second half that Philadelphia was just the better team. Washington was overmatched, resulting in a 55-23 loss for Washington, but win for Philadelphia, which sets us up for a Super Bowl rematch from just 2 years ago. Philadelphia heading to New Orleans. But how are we feeling about this, Antonino? Again, we were rooting for Washington. I think both of us, just because local guys, hoping the local team wins, but Philadelphia just stomped them Commanders.
So the game started using the formula that's worked for the Commanders all year long. They have this long drive, burn a lot of clock, a lot of plays. They go all the way down the field. They settle for a field goal. They get the ball again. They go on a drive, long drive, use a lot of time. They got no points. So 2 long drives. They make some fourth. They only get 3 points out of that. And then the turnover creeped in. The running back fumbled towards the sideline. They lost that. Then it was a kickoff return later in the game. Couple turnovers. You just need to cash in on those long drives. You hate to see them end it like this.
Well, like the theme has been pretty much this whole playoff postseason. Turnovers have been the difference in pretty much all of these matchups. And Washington turned it over 4 times. And Philadelphia turned those 4 turnovers into 4 touchdowns. So 28 points off of turnovers. That's the difference here. Washington was in this game. They were competing for the most part with Philadelphia. Like you mentioned, they were able to move the ball downfield. They were able to finish some drives off, but 3 fumbles lost, an interception late by Daniels, which was a Hail Mary basically that resulted in another garbage time TD. But the 3 fumbles in particular, that's what put the nail in the coffin for Washington. They just kept putting themselves in a hole with those turnovers. They're playing a much better Philly team, so they had to play mistake-free football in order to win this one, and just did not execute when they needed to.
Yeah, you really can't win a game, obviously, when you let up, 55 points. My goodness, that's just too many points. But I don't want to hear anybody on earth say that they didn't want it bad enough, because I heard that a couple times in the past couple days. That's what I said. That's what I heard. Yes, they didn't want it bad enough, and it's so frustrating to hear, because I couldn't disagree more with that. Just because one guy fumbles, he's trying his best. If he fumbled the ball, it's not on purpose. They didn't want it bad enough. They had 2 very good drives to start the game. It's not that they don't. It's just one player at one play making a mistake. They're just
out. They were outmatched. Okay. Yes. They were outmatched going into this game. We knew that going ahead. We knew that if Philadelphia was also able to produce a pass rush without blitzing, they would be able to slow down Washington's offense, which they did. Jalen Carter was just wreaking havoc, as I predicted, which sucked for Washington fans. But come on, the first play of the game for Philadelphia, Saquon breaks a 60-yard touchdown. They couldn't stop this guy. He had 15 carries for 118, 3 rushing touchdowns. Jalen Hurts also had 3 rushing touchdowns. Philly ended with 7 rushing touchdowns, which tied a playoff record, man, with the Chicago Bears back in 1940. And guess what? Chicago beat a Washington team in that game too, 73-0. So at least Washington put up some points this time, but they were just outmatched. They were playing a better team. But if you're a Washington fan, you have hope. I mean, they far exceeded your expectations. You have a stud quarterback now. Build on this. I mean, you're a lot closer to a championship than you probably thought you were when this season started.
They have a lot to be excited about, and I'm willing to bet they're going to target that defensive line to stop Saquon next year and the years going forward because they see this guy twice a year. This is the third time you saw him. You couldn't stop him. Maybe they beef up that line. Same thing with the Rams last week. You've seen Saquon earlier this year. You couldn't stop it. The Commanders have seen it twice, and they couldn't stop it. The Chiefs have some vulnerability stopping the run. So Saquon, can he bring a title to Philly? Being a reject out of the New York Giants, left for dead. Same thing with Brown at receiver, kind of left for dead with Tennessee. Both these guys rejuvenating their careers. Could they bring a title to Philly in this rematch? We're going to talk about that soon.
Okay, well, let's hop into our half-minute halftime then. Take a little break. That does the recap for the 2 championship games. After the break, we'll head into a little bit of a brief Super Bowl preview because we don't want to spoil it all heading into next week, which will be kind of like our Super Bowl extravaganza episode. But all right, man, let's go in the locker room. Head us with this half-minute halftime show.
All right, folks, we got a week and a half until we crown a new Super Bowl champion. And what I'm here to tell you is we haven't come this far to come this far. So keep tuning in and we'll keep giving you those hot takes.
That's right. So if you've been enjoying the podcast, go ahead, give us a like, become a part of the chain movement, follow us on Spotify, Instagram, or wherever you listen to the show. Okay, man. Well, exiting the locker room here at halftime, we're going to head into third down, third and long, a Super Bowl sneak peek. So the stage is set for New Orleans. We have the Philadelphia Eagles who are going to be wearing their home green jerseys versus the Kansas City Chiefs who will be wearing their white away jerseys. And just kind of like a low-level preview. We don't want to give all the secrets and the analysis into this yet, but just from reactionary standpoint, how are we feeling about this game? What are we looking out for? This is a rematch from a few years ago. Are we excited about this? Just give me your actual take. What is your reaction to this being the game that, after 20-something weeks of watching football, this is what we get as the championship?
Just like my wordplay at the beginning kind of stated, boycott. I feel like I don't want to watch this thing at all. I might boycott the game. Of all the matchups, of all the teams in the playoffs, of the whole NFL, this is what we get. I might boycott the game. The next 2 weeks, you're going to hear ad nauseum, three-peat this and that. Mahomes could be the GOAT, the Kelsey brothers, Taylor Swift. All the storylines are in play here, and it's just what the NFL wanted. I'm sick.
You know what, though? As I was watching the games on Sunday, I heard this from a few folks stating the same thing, that they would not watch this Super Bowl if this ended up being the game that we were given. So I would be curious if you and others will actually follow through. Would you be able to put yourself on the bench, on the sideline during the biggest game of the season that you have put so much hours into following throughout the year? Like, I don't think you can. And the NFL knows that. They're like, we don't care.
No.
Gotcha.
I figured this out. Everyone who's listening that doesn't want to watch this game, and I don't know if it's too late, maybe we should change this down. We should preview the Puppy Bowl, and we should all just watch the Puppy Bowl. I think that happens alongside this game. It might be too late for this show, but the Puppy Bowl, let's tune into that instead. We can do this. Boycott.
Who do you have for the Puppy Bowl?
Oh, man, if there's any Husky in there, I might be a bias, but I'm going to cheer for any Husky that's involved. But
yeah.
The Puppy Bowl. Yeah, I just feel sick. I already know we're going to hear all about Taylor Swift. How many Super Bowls Mahomes has been to, 5 of the last 6. And it should be 6 out of 6. Let me remind you, the Bengals were not supposed to win that game in Cincinnati. They were down 21-3, and the refs let off the cheating a little bit, and we caught everyone off guard. We weren't supposed to win. We were down 21-3. He should have been to the last 6 Super Bowls. We ruined his little fun, but he's back, and there's nothing we can do about it.
You know what, though? Just you putting that in perspective just now is wild to me. He could have been, he being Mahomes, that we're alluding to, him and the Kansas City Chiefs could have been to the past 6 Super Bowls. That's insanity.
Oh, boy.
I mean, have we reached the realm and the era territory of like the Brady and Belichick New England Patriots era when, at first it was fun, right? Like, oh, cool. Patriots have sucked forever. And look at this guy, Tom Brady. He's pretty good. They win a Super Bowl. Oh, okay. They won again. All right, nice. This is a fun story. But then after 3, after 4, after 5, I think we got to the point where we're like, all right, this is a stale story. We want something else.
Is it crazy that I'm like, I kind of miss Tom Brady and Gronkowski. I'd rather watch that. I feel bad we were tired of that team when really Gronkowski just spiked the ball really hard and did silly things. And Tom Brady was Tom Brady. But this Chiefs team is so unlikable. Like Mahomes gets a touchdown. They pan straight to the press box at Taylor Swift. I'm like, what does it have to do with?
Look, though, New England was pretty unlikable too after they had become so dominant. Because once you've gone to this realm of just consistency, people want parity when they watch football. Let's be real. Let's be honest. Like we tune in. We want parity. We want the idea. Just like you could think the American dream. Like anyone can do it if you put your mind to it. You work hard. Anyone can achieve the success. But once you see one team with one player, one coach consistently just achieve that level of success at the expense of everybody else, it's just like, all right, I don't want to see this. It's boring.
That's enough of that. But what I think could come out of this, and this is a high level, like we said, preview, Andy Reid. He went to the Super Bowl with the Eagles. He's going to the Super Bowl nonstop with the Chiefs. Andy Reid could really cement himself on the Mount Rushmore of coaches. Like, this is crazy. He should be getting the credit. Like, the players are good. Mahomes is great. Don't get me wrong. But I think it's him. I think he's the genius behind all of this, and he should get majority credit. The players have to make the plays, but he, gosh darn, is putting them in the right spots.
I agree. I mean, I think Andy Reid is already on the Mount Rushmore of head coaches. He's up there with Belichick, Walsh, maybe Shula or somebody, I don't know. But yeah, he's totally up there. Even his time with Philadelphia, he had a lot of success. I think they went to 4 straight conference championship games with Philly in the early to mid 2000s before they finally went to the Super Bowl and lost to New England. But yeah, I mean, this is an opportunity. Let's try to wrap this up in a positive way. Obviously, this wasn't the game you or I wanted to see, but we do have a chance to potentially see just pure greatness. We could see Mahomes cap off yet another Super Bowl. Andy Reid. I mean, this would just go toward their overall legacy, which kind of cool to see that, I suppose. Philadelphia, on the other hand, they've won 1 Super Bowl. They've been to this is their 5th or 4th now. So they have a chance to get their 2nd ever in team history. But who do you have? Who do you want to root for? Are you going to give it away yet, or are we having to wait for next week?
I'm still nauseous. I need another week, but the NFL got what they wanted. They're going to get the ratings. The huge Eagles fan base, huge Chiefs fan base, the Taylor Swift fan base. They're going to get the ratings, but I'm boycotting. That's that. The puppy ball.
I hope you do. I think that would be amazing if you actually don't watch the game. And then, when we talk about it here on this podcast, you won't know what to
I'd be like, did you see that one commercial? I'll watch the commercials after the game, and I'll watch the puppy ball. We'll talk about that.
All right. Well, okay, man. We're going to turn a little bit because there is a game this weekend in between the Super Bowl. I don't know if you forgot and everyone else forgot, but the Pro Bowl. That still happens. I forgot it happened too. We had to remind each other going in, like, what happens in between the Super Bowl again? Oh, that's right, the Pro Bowl games. So, this is a little bit of a different format now. They used to actually play a football game years ago. It's turned into more of like this mini game spectacle. So, what are they playing in particular this weekend? Do you know?
Yeah, I remember last year there was a flag football type game where Jamar Chase caught a touchdown from C.J. Stroud. So seeing a unique combination of players with shorts and T-shirts on, with their sunglasses on, way different.
Is that a sell for you? Like the shorts and T-shirts?
It's a little tough at first, but it's nice because you can see the players outside their pads and helmets. You can actually see their facial expressions. They're usually mic'd up too, so you can hear what they're saying. I think the coaches of the teams was like Eli Manning or Peyton Manning, so you get to see them poke jabs at each other. And then there's some QB obstacles, which kind of remind me of that football game on N64. I think it was called like MVP quarterback or something around those lines, where you got to like throw the ball really far. Yeah. So little things like that. I guess I'm drawing up some excitement here. It's something to watch in between the Super Bowl and the last game. So the
so are you actually going to watch this? It's what, February 2nd at 3 p.m. on ESPN. So you're going to sit down and watch the Pro Bowl games and watch these guys in their shorts and short sleeves talking to each other, having a good time?
If I'm home, sure, why not? I'll pop it on. I'll see if one of my favorite players is making some plays out there. It's not the same. I'd rather see Sean Taylor fully padded, running over a punter in the game like old times.
Oh, Brian Mormon, I remember that play.
Oh, boy. I know he probably remembers that, too, because he got ran.
CTE is a fickle thing for folks.
Yeah, CTE. Yeah, definitely got CTE.
All right, I don't mean to joke about something serious like that. That's not funny.
But I think I'm definitely going to tune in. I think the Pro Bowl, it used to be in Hawaii. Where is it? Do you know where it is? In Florida this year?
Down your way in Florida. Okay. Fortunately, I'll be on a flight leaving Florida, heading back home right in the middle of this. So I don't have to, I'll have an excuse not to watch it. Look, man, this thing is not the same as what it used to be.
Yep.
Even a few years back, they at least still kind of played a game. But honestly, for me, the shift changed when they moved it prior to the Super Bowl. Once they did that, I just lost complete interest, because what is the Pro Bowl, right? It's an all-star game of the best, right? So when you tune in to watch this, you're wanting to see some of the best players that play the game competing in some fashion, hopefully in like the exhibition, like a scrimmage, as they used to do. Obviously they had to like taper back off that because of injuries.
Yeah.
Dudes having some pretty serious injuries in a meaningless game was not good for the owners who are paying these dudes millions of dollars. But even after that, when players started tapering back, I want to see the guys that are going to be in the Super Bowl after the Super Bowl talking about what they just did and what they accomplished. Even if it's in this format, at least we're not seeing all these substitutions, because now the Pro Bowl rosters are like 70-man teams. Anybody can make the Pro Bowl, because look, we have Derrick Henry opting out this year, which gave way to James Cook. He's deserving though. We had Zay Flowers get injured, so he's not going to play. Travis Kelce's going to be in the Super Bowl, so Jonnu Smith gets in over him. So it's just like, that's silly.
All these alternates, I think they call them alternates, get in the game. Yeah, it's
perfect example. What was it, a few years back when Baltimore's backup Tyler Huntley came in through a 4-game stretch, got Baltimore to the playoffs. I think he threw like maybe 1 touchdown pass to 2 interceptions. Somehow this guy was named on the Pro Bowl roster. Are you that no? Yeah. That is stupid.
Yeah, the game has so much potential. Move it after the Super Bowl, but I just wish we could watch them all fully padded, playing full-blown, full-force football. We're getting excited. Well, some of us getting excited about Mahomes playing the Eagles, Hurts, this and that. All these big-name players matching up. We're like, oh, there's a good matchup, the GOATs. Imagine if every position was the best of the best receiver against the best corner, and they were going full force at each other. That could be the best game of all games that ever happened, but they just obviously don't take it serious. It's such a shame. It's such a letdown.
It is. So I'm curious though, from the chain movement, those listening, do you watch the Pro Bowl? Maybe, Antonino, we can put out a little poll question. Are you going to watch the Pro Bowl? Do you watch it? Yay or nay? I'm just curious if anybody actually tunes into this. Obviously they do, because they keep airing it and they keep putting money into it in some regards. So I'm guessing there is some fan base, but let me ask you real quick before we round into the 2-minute drill. Would you pay money to go to the Pro Bowl games?
I would, but you would have to sit close, because I want to see the players or hear it, or I'm not going to sit way at the top. A normal game, I'd sit at the top or anywhere really. But for this, I'd want to sit closer. I'd want to have more engagement with the players, hopefully, of some sort.
Do you have a number, $150 to sit?
Oh, no, probably maybe $100. Yeah, $100.
Oh, you'd go $100.
$100, because these are the best players. Even if they're in shirts and a t-shirt, all these good players just talking, shooting the what on the field. That'd be cool to see and hear. Yeah.
So you want a fanboy? You want to sit over there and drool over?
I would not fly. I'd do a lot of drooling if those two were there. but I probably wouldn't fly to it. It'd have to be nearby. Things like that.
Which it is. Hey, maybe we can go this weekend. Well, I'll be flying back, but maybe you can go after you drop me off at the airport.
I might consider it.
All right, man. Well, that does it for our 4 downs. So how about we hop into this 2-minute drill and cover the latest news?
The Super Bowl will be played on Saquon Barkley's 28th birthday.
Happy birthday, Saquon. So, the coaching carousel's been in full force. Robert Saleh is going to become the San Francisco 49ers' new defensive coordinator. He was their defensive coordinator prior to taking the gig as the Jets, so a reunion is in order.
Pete Carroll, very old, getting up there in years, doesn't matter. He's going to be the head coach of the Raiders. It's going to be fun times in Vegas.
Oh, we have breaking news, too. The Cowboys have hired their new head coach. That's right. Jerry Jones is going to be Brian Schottenheimer is going to be coaching the Cowboys. Yes, coaching the Cowboys. He's the new puppet in town for Jerry Jones to wrangle with.
The Jacksonville Jaguars also have a new head coach. They get offensive coordinator Liam Cohen from Tampa Bay. Watch the introduction interview. It was so cringeworthy.
Ew, no, I don't want to watch cringe stuff. There is actually still one team searching for their head coach. That's the New Orleans Saints. Totally forgot that they were, still a team in the NFL, but they are still looking for a head coach. They're interviewing Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator for Philadelphia, which they would probably have to wait until after the Super Bowl to make that decision then.
The Kansas City Chiefs have won their last 17 one-possession games. That's the most in NFL history.
Nice. The Dallas Cowboys are also nearing a deal to sign former Bears reject head coach Matt Eberflus to become their defensive coordinator. Dallas is just making some great offseason moves here. Excited about this one.
Speaking of Dallas, the Eagles got more rushing touchdowns in this conference championship game with 7 than the Cowboys had all season with 6.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. The Buffalo Bills safety Micah Hyde has announced his retirement after 11 professional seasons in the NFL.
Last but not least, folks, there's only one active quarterback that's beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, and that's Joseph Lee Burrow. Don't you forget it. Let's see if Jalen Hurts can add a name to that short list.
I wonder if the chain movement appreciates you throwing in all this Bengal stuff at the end of every 2-minute drill. Maybe that should be our question for the week. Like, do we like Antonino's Bengal propaganda, or should he get rid of it?
They'll at least know his middle name by the time we're done with this. So.
Joseph Lee Burrow. I didn't know it until you started fanboying him that much.
That's right. Well, we'll have a full breakdown of the Super Bowl that's up and coming next week. But until then, you know the drill. We'll see you on the next one. The next one is the best one.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of First and 30. Until next Wednesday, remember, when your number's called, no matter the odds,
let's go for it.